Xin Don Dong Bu Zang Ye Gun Do Zang Do Je Zen Ban Do Je De Xin Xian Ba Wen Chen Ben Zhou Wan Ge Ben Gun Da Lan Zer Kong Ye Xie Chen Ye En De Ne Ma Ye Yin Ne Nam Da Yang Zhong Gu Lo Rui She Yue Gun Do Le Ma Re Zong Zen Gen Nam Nyam Jia Gun Da Jin Xu Yin Yong Ge Long Do Xiang Ben Za Rai Sang Wen Da Bon Do Je Da Zhe Gu Sang Do Zang Sa Ma Ye Bum Jin Tam Le Nyam Xin Sen Le Ga Wa Gang Rab Du Nong Xin Ye Ben To Lo Sha Sa Do Nyam Ba Yun Do Yin Ben De De Ne Le Yin Yin Zen Do Je Gang Zhu Yin Ga Yi Che Ban Zha Bu Ren Ge Ban Di Jin Dip Jun Ye Ben Yu Zhen Sha Hu Wen De Ben Jia Bo Yin Nen Do Je Jin Ming Su Me Zhen Yam Dan Sha Ba Zha Gun Do Sang Pe Yi Zo Ri Ben Du Zhal Me Ban Che Yin Long Do Ai On Ban Der Sa Do Sa Ma Ya Ma Nu Ba La Ya Ben Der Sa Do De No Ba Di Sha Dir Zhe Men Ba Wa Su Do Ka Yo Men Ba Su Bo Ka Yo Men Ba Wa An No Ra Do Men Ba Wa Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Su Za Me Zidam Shiri Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Menza Bajribo Mahasamaya San Do Om Badr Sado Samaya Manu Balaya Badr Sado Denob Disadir Me Baba Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhi Me Prayat Sarva Karma Suzame Zidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Bajri Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Balaya Bandra Sado Deno Ba Distradir Me Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhim Pravaya Sarva Karma Suzame Zidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Menzam Bajrim Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Balaya Bandra Sado Deno Distradir Me Baba Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhim Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Suzam Chidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajri Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Balaya Bandra Sado Deno Ba Distradir Me Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Suzam Chidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Bajri Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Balaya Bandra Sado Deno Ba Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Suzam Chidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Menza Bajri Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Balaya Bandra Sado Deno Distradir Me Baba Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Suzame Zidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Bajrim Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Bal Bandra Sado Deno Ba Distradir Me Baba Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Suzam Chidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Bajri Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Maya Manu Balaya Bandra Sado Sudo Kayo Me Baba Subo Kayo Me Baba Anorado Me Baba Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sarva Karma Suzam Chidam Shireye Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gadam Bajrama Me Menza Bajri Baba Ma Samaya San Do Ai Om Bandra Sado Sa Mano Bai Layan Benjara Sato Teno Bai Dishan de Jo Membo Sudo Kayo Membo Subo Kayo Membo Anora Do Membo Sarva Siddhim Prayan Zai Sarva Karma Sudam Siddham Shiri Yam Guru Hoy Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gata Benjara Mame Menzam Benjara Baba Maha Samaya Sai Doi Ai Om Benjara Sato Sai Maya Mano Bai Deno Bai Disran Disran Mem Bawan Sundoi Kayo Mem Bawan Suboi Kayo Mem Ano Rangdoi Mem Bawan Sarvan Siddhim Mem Prayan Sai Sarva Karma Sudam Siddham Shiri Yam Guru Hoi Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Engat Vajra Mame Menzam Benjrim Bhava Maha Samaya Sai Doi Ai Om Benjara Sato Sai Maya Mano Bai Lai Vajra Sando Deno Bai Disran Dirijo Mem Bhava Sudoi Kayo Mem Subo Kayo Mem Bhava Ano Raso Mem Bhava Sarva Siddhim Prayat Sai Sarva Karma Sudame Siddham Shiri Yang Guru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gata Benjara Mame Benjarim Bhava Maha Samaya Sai Doi Ai Om Benjara Sato Sai Maya Mano Bai Lai Vajra Santo Deno Bai Dishan Dijo Mem Bhava Sudoi Kayo Mem Suboi Kayo Mem Bhava Ano Rangdo Mem Bhava Sarva Siddhim Prayat Sai Sarva Karma Sudame Siddham Shiri Yang Guru Hoi Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Data Gata Benjara Mame Benjrim Bhava Maha Samaya Sai Doi Ai Gewa Indiye Nyurdo Dan Doje Semba Jum Yuren Jova Ji Yang Malib Teye Salai Gön Barai Shoi Tata Simjen Tamji Yen Tamzi Nyamjai Gundai Dine Janchu Vinyimben Bara Tamzi Nambara Tam Barai Shoi
tani jurondo batren hawan goso pare de tani taung jiwa de tani pena kan da taung so kara so gona tani pelen kangpa so gona kangpa mangje so yore kangpa mangje de ko so gore tani ko chunyang ni jino mudo de chi go yore mun chu tamji ko mun do wa kan ye tani so 사숙 생활도 좋고 하는 것도 좋나더니 배나 남의 제나야 땅에서 레주게 하고 시술나 냐미 제티 뭐 차거리 진 잠을 가린 채네 두개 사람이 말이 지치게 돼 봐서나 지치게 돼 봐면은 오 다다다 로자 오 치치치 하고 그랬지 라산 치치가 다다랑 피고선 다다랑 가양 피 두고 말을 레주와 땅 타고요 어때 치질 거는 하고 뭐 loktaji ti ro chuti mo yung yo ma le le ju ri ng chi ji o ta ta ge dong ni tang ji ji ma chi wa le ta ta ge yang ni xie ba de de mang ba ji wa la ta ga ge dong he le ta ta ge ti ro na ku long ju ko so ku long ji ba de da chu ka le ji xie wo o nga che de ji bo sang wo de ta ge yo ma le chu ka le sang wo de 라면 샘지 삼지 피고 야무나 지와 체랍라 다들 등인대로 안 먹고 오지 체랍만 걸 피고 사람 라면들이 오더니 나딘 자고도 오 샘지 삼지 피고 사람 같이 로랑 이게 요래 대우는 갖고 너무 빼야고래 yin pingo san bi lo te ji yang ma sa do se le ni ko no ji ba de da wang de o nga ji ku dang kan ba sa ma yin ba de che ba ji chi na 습지 탐지 동화 사제 토고 삼 데려고 삼
So, dear Dharma friends, we are now starting with the empowerment, and that begins with the preparatory rituals, the preparation, which is like a preliminary practice. And it is just like when you want to build a good house, you need to first establish a firm foundation. So it is therefore said all Dharma practice requires preliminary practices. And the preliminary practices of all Dharma practices is bodhicitta. And it is to understand karma. And if you understand karma and you trust in that, then all practice that comes from there will become stable. And then even if you encounter some negative circumstances in your life, you will not be swayed by it because you have a firm trust in infallible karma. Otherwise, if you don't really trust in karma, often people are temporarily really attracted to Dharma practice and they find it's a good thing to do, but also they have some hopes or expectations that the Dharma practice will be of benefit immediately. But actually there is often nothing that we can do about the karma that is already ripening. So we can't sometimes change our situation, and when that is the case, often people then develop wrong views towards the Dharma and think that the Dharma doesn't really work. And so if you don't trust in karma for this reason, your Dharma practice in the long run will not become stable. If you trust in karma, then you know that all the difficulties you experience now in this life, you yourself have created in previous lives. And the practice you are engaging in now in this life is for the sake of becoming free from suffering in future lifetimes. So this is the motivation that we need to hold when we practice the Dharma. So if you practice the Dharma with an intention to become happy in this life, that's actually not the correct motivation. How you should think when you practice the Dharma is ideally you should think of all sentient beings, or at least you should think that in future lives I do not want to suffer again like in this life. So actually, ultimately, we have to separate from self-grasping. So therefore, the best motivation is to practice the Dharma for the benefit of others. Actually, if you have this motivation of altruism, it is because you have already practiced bodhicitta in previous lives. If when you practice the Dharma or when you receive this empowerment, don't do it with the motivation to receive some temporary happiness in this life. Just directly trust in karma and just think that in a very direct way, I am going to receive this empowerment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
그래서 책동다들이 이제 공부를 돈에와 많이 이제 바로도 공부를 체도나 많이 온장 대비지 뭐 고송 대비지 뭐 고송 저 포동 초바 토버서 저거는 좀 벌써 대단한 공부를 도와 인이저랑 이제 매 먹고반 중앙에서 사제적 공방 통나 내가 다섯 개 되어라 인이 주고 요래서 매번 내가 내가 좀 매봤잖아요. 그러나 로또 그 사원은 뭐다 요할 때를 비슷해서 차들이 그렇게 맥도스 디스플레이한테 도로요래 사제 공방놈들이 기와처럼 돌이 용띠 남기기 주고요래 예 뭐종만 말이지 남기기 주고요래 다른 못하고 해야지.
So in the text, it basically says that when we cultivate the motivation, then it should be not one for the benefit of this life or even just for future lives, but actually for the attainment of the state of enlightenment, the Buddha's three kayas. And with that motivation, with that wish, I am going to enter the mandala of the empowerment. And actually, when you have such an intention, then all the other desired qualities will actually be accomplished naturally and effortlessly without even hoping for them. So if your intention is towards complete enlightenment and not for any temporary benefit, then the temporary benefits will actually naturally arise. And so what we should do is actually to look at the not to hope only for the flower, but to look at the qualities that are within the seed, and then all the other qualities will be naturally accomplished if you only tend to the seed. So the point is that when we receive the empowerment, we should not do it with the motivation of some short-term benefits, but should look into the long-term for enlightenment. And so next we come to the historical background of the empowerment. And so the history begins long ago in the Kalpa of completion. There was one called Devakaru who misinterpreted the view and activities of mantra. Thus, at first, he incarnated in the south of the universe, below the 7 regions of the underworld, as Yama, vicious Black Lord of Death, who was controlling 9 quarters of an iron mansion. The destruction he inflicted upon beings invoked the intervention of the Buddhas. The noble Manjushri assumed the form of the wrathful king Yamantaka, subdued Yama, and bound under oath his vicious retinue, turning them all into protectors of the teachings. Subsequently, he taught extensively Champal Gundu Sangbo's common and uncommon explanatory tantras of the violently hostile charnel ground, the tantras of direct oral transmission, the shared tantras, the general tantras, the special tantras, and so forth. Outwardly at Yama's dwelling place, which is the mansion of the southern violently hostile Channel Ground, and inwardly in Akarnishta, the pure sky expanse of the Vajradakini. These teachings were then gathered by Manjushri, Vajrapani, and so forth, and made into volumes of lapis lazuli. These were then concealed inside the great, glorious, self-arisen stupa in the land of Udayana. Having bound the Mamo Dakinis under oath, Garab Dorjem extracted the Dharmam written in secret letters of Udayana from the stupa and entrusted it to Manjushri Mitra with the secret name Vajrakumara. According to a different account, the Dharma was gradually transmitted from the field of Akarnishtam through Tsangpa, the son of the gods, Nimam, Devachokten, and so forth, to the Khandramam Davause, who passed it on as an oral transmission to Manjushri Mitra of Magadha. The Yamantaka Tantras and oral instructions were transmitted to the second Buddha Padma Trudeng, Shantigarbham, Jnanagarbha, Khagarbham, Tsuklakpalgem, Dana Samskritam, Chaktung Nagbo, Vasudhara, and so forth. In addition, based on these tantras and instructions, these masters have composed a vast array of practice texts, such as the condensed wrathful Lord of Life from the Khatun cycle, the 10 wrathful destroyers, and so forth. This particular cycle of the dark red-faced Rahula, the fiery razor, was transmitted as a dharmam through Manjushri Yamantaka to Pungjem Shintagarbha, who passed it to Chakdung Nagbo. The oral transmission and the secret moon great root tantra of Manjushri's mind were discovered by Jnanagarbham at Tsangpalunu, a limestone rock formation in the shape of a rhinoceros. He transmitted them to Akashagarbha in the Sindhu forest, who in turn passed them on to Chakdung Nagbo. Then the Gamma and Dharma both were transmitted to Tsuklak Palgem, who then extracted from these tantras and instructions a cycle of teachings that became renowned as the utterly profound 3 cycles, the 4 characteristics, and the 3 vital points, or also referred to as the fiery razor of extreme repelling. This was then transmitted to the great master Padma Trudengtsal, who passed it on to the Nepali master Vasudhara. Nupsangye Yeshe, the Lord of Mantra, came before the presence of Vasudhara 7 times, who only gave him these instructions during his last visit, along with a seal of secrecy prohibiting their disclosure to others at that time. The instructions were then written in silver letters on sheets of blue sea silk and placed into small crystal vessels, which were then placed into brown chests made of onyx. These treasures were then concealed at Pumbu Rinpoche and the Koting Temple of Lojak. The Dharma at Pumbu Rinpoche was discovered by Gyashang Tom, the incarnation of the great master Nup. He transmitted it to his disciple Lajin Nubjung. The Dharma at the Koting Temple of Lojak was discovered by Lajin Nubjung, and in this way he received the transmission of both the first and second Dharma. His disciple Tsurtun Rinchen Dorjem gave the instructions to his uncle Parden, and then they were transmitted to Lama Tsultrim Rinchen, Ngakchang Changchup Gompo, and Ketub Namka. He passed them on to Ringzin Tsultrim, Gyatun Wongbo, Namka Ringzin Sangwa. Then these teachings were transmitted to the Dharma king Jigungpa Rinchen Puntsok, who is an emanation of the king Motik Temple. He then gave them to Chogyal Puntsok. He in turn passed them on to his brother Dashi Puntsok, an emanation of Naropa. Finally, the vast lineages of Karma and Dharma merged as a single stream that has remained until now without corruption. This lineage comprises 7 modes of transmission referred to as the Buddha's mind lineage, the Vidyadhara's sign lineage, the person's hearing lineage, the lineage of empowered aspiration, the lineage of prophetic transmission, the Dharma lineage for karmically fortunate, and the oral lineage on golden scrolls. This uncorrupted lineage is the warm breath of the Mamos and Dakinis, the heart-blood instructions of the seeing lineage, revealing the ritualistic aspects of this practice, has remained unbroken. This lineage is undefiled by Samaya corruption and demonic influence. The Vajra dome of protection above is unimpaired. The raising force of the enchanted weapon's deadly repelling winds in between is unremitting. The intense heat in the pit of suppression and destruction below has not been lost. It is essential to engage in this practice with a virtuous intention and place an iron seal on the dark side of magic. Then, in order to receive the blessings of the dark red-faced Yamantaka, the fiery razor of extreme repelling, and the empowerment of the inner severance of the sharp-witted Lord of Life, first think that the assembly of deities of the three roots appear in the space before you. In their presence, take refuge, give rise to bodhicitta, and take the Vidyadhara vows.
Diese Instruktionen waren mit silbernen Buchstaben auf blaue Seite geschrieben, wurden in feine, kristallene Gefäße eingefüllt, die wiederum in braunen, aus Onyx, Edelstein verfertigten Schatullen verborgen wurden. Sie wurden verborgen und versiegelt an zwei Orten, und an den Putin-Tempel in Tibet. Das erste Therma am Ufo-Rinpoche, großen Berg, wurde dann wiedergefunden von Yacham Dromel, der selbst als Inkarnation des großen Meisters von Yeshua gesehen wird. Er hat ihn weitergegeben an einen Schüler, den Namen Yagi Nutschung. Der zweite Therma, verborgen an dem Putin-Tempel an den südlichen Felsen, wurde wieder entdeckt durch eben jenen Schüler, Yagi Nutschung. Auf diese Weise war er im Besitze der doppelten Überlieferung der beiden, der ersten und des zweiten Therma. Seine Schüler, Sutra München dorte, gaben diese Instruktion weiter an der Schüler gab es weiter an seinen Onkel Alvin, der wiederum an Lama Sultan Rinchen, dann Nakshang, Sancho Grimbo, Ketok Naka, schließlich Rinchen Sultan, Garchen, Möncho, Namka Rinchen, Dara. Zuletzt fanden diese dann zu dem Lama-König Trikung Rinchen Pünzos, der auch als eine Wiederverkörperung des Königs, des tibetischen Königs Mudi Zempo angesehen. Er gab es weiter an Shilja Pünzot, der wiederum an seinen Bruder Ashi Pünzot, war selbst eine Verkörperung von Narupa. So waren zuletzt die beiden Ströme, Karma, die Worte, und Dharma, die verborgenen Schätze, in einen Hauptstrom vereint. Und darin zugleich die 7 Übertragungslinien enthalten, die der überragenden Buddha-Absicht, die Überlieferungslinie der Weisheit, also der Vidyadharas durch Symbol, die Überlieferung von Individuen, von Lehrer zu Schüler zu hören, die Überlieferung der besonderen Wünsche, Herzenswünsche, die Überlieferung der Voraussagen, die Überlieferung der jene, die von großem karmischen Glücklich sind, und die Überlieferung der sogenannten goldenen Schriftrollen. Alle diese 7 Überlieferungslinien komplett ist es eine ununterbrochene Übertragung, in der warme Atem der Manus und Dakinis weiterlebt. Das Herzensblut dieser Unterweisung, nämlich dass die Überlieferung des Durchsehen, die alle verschiedenen Aspekte des Rituals, der Verfahren usw. direkt aus eigener Anschauung weitergeben kann, ist ununterbrochen erhalten. Diese Überlieferung ist unbefleckt von jeder Art von Samaya
In für solche Art des Übens ist es unbedingt Voraussetzung, dass wir von einer eingesatzten Herzensabsicht leben sind und dass wir ein eisernes Siegel auf die dunklen Seiten der Magie legen. Um also solche Ermutigung zu empfangen, nämlich die des rotgesichtigen, dunklen Yamantaka, jener, der diese äußerste Zurückweisung der feurigen Asketin verkörpert, und um die Ermächtigung zu empfangen des inneren Beschneidens des Herrn des Lebens, ist es zuallererst geraten, dass wir uns vorstellen, vor und über uns im Raume seien jene anwesend, welche für uns die drei Wurzeln bedeuten: Guru, Deva, Dakini, und dass sie mit ihm zusammen die Quellen der Zuflucht dort vor uns gegenwärtig sind. In ihrer Gegenwart gilt es erneut den Entschluss zu fassen, Zuflucht zu nehmen und Bodhicitta, Herzensmut zu entstehen, außerdem die Vorsätze der Vidyadhara zu fassen.
그런데 주바도 또 집을 주바들이 완롱성고 주바다들이 냠미를 하고 주바니 오래 들인들이 냠미를 하고 주바들은 다다 따뜻한 거 속에 진짜리 가공은 소속은 냠미 여러 보면들이 로랍 저타만 보더니 유마체바 누군가지 예당 탐체는 시지 조제 저 탑다 참다 보제는 저 탑디 드럭 조치 보제는 세상에 냠미를 합이 주바지 대소를 사드 사리 체벌이 요마 가지고 사드 속치고를 사드 덮치고를 사드 덮치 정말 드럭이 드럭이 가자들 사드다만 뒤치벌을 사 20발 체벌이란 말이에요. 이제 다시 신지의 도마리 시간을 벌어야 돼. 무슨 가고 진심이냐면 소스로 독순 예산이들 마족라족 더발 속 냠이 마제군 더발 속 더발짱짱 소리들 놓다고 마치 될때는 더발이들이랑 이제 랑게들이 사람 선을 초발하더니 라르티바티 도망 많이 벌어베티 때렸더니들 로마탄 집에 소화기들이 참아 사가자고 요래 이 망도 송따다 사제 가시를 저고요. 너네 책담을 연습을 하고 주바. 가시 완롱도 봐. 가시 상고지 받아 주바 때리. 들다다지 라마 주바만 고스니디 주바 연습을 하고 주바는 송고요. 완롱 주바 삼만 고요. 하자 사파들 로지 다 파체 가마시게 고성했더니 보바 가시 오늘 따뜻한 요거 이렇게 쏘는 거예요. 말이 로지 제진 남아라 요래지 로지 가르치고 통통통통 요래지.
And so for an empowerment, the lineage is really very important. And so here we learn about the transmission of this specific empowerment. But then there's also another form of transmission, and that is through the practice lineage of blessings. And actually, regarding this one, it is a personal lineage because this deity, Yamantaka, has been practiced intensely at my own monastery, at Garchen monastery, for a very long time, for many, many generations, and uninterruptedly. So in this way, also in the Jigong Kagyu lineage, this form of Yamantaka is a very important deity. And it is one that we have practiced in very strict and rigorous retreat for a very long time. It is said that what is more important than the practice itself is how we engage in practice. This is also to say that the difference does not really lie in the deity, but in the way that we practice the deity. Because some people say that this deity is very powerful. But actually, there's no deity that's more powerful than another deity. But what makes it more powerful is the way it is practiced, or if it is practiced at all. But in general, within the mind of wisdom deities, there is no difference. So now, before this tradition of Yamantaka practice has been also transmitted into Western countries, it has been practiced for many generations at Gar Monastery, and also ever since a very young age, like 12 or 13 or so, I started to join the Drupchen, and we have held it annually, every year, without interruption. And now, it being a lineage belonging now to the practice lineage of blessings, also shows that through practice, a special feeling arises in the mind. And this is what happened to me. Through practice, I developed a further an increasingly deeper devotion and trust in the deity. And then bringing this to the West, now many disciples report similar feelings. And that is why so many people always want to join us for the Yamantaka and Drupchen, and it's getting more and more. So these are really the blessings and not just words. So there are many different lineages. There are the various lineages, masters of the empowerment, and then there's also the specific lineage of the practice lineage of blessings, which is very profound. So actually, no, there might be also a few Tibetans here, but
산속의 생을 보죠. 곰주바 파시로 두 대유는 모니터리 다다다 사지 공방 탑대 소장지기 이 상하들이 산속 생 유를 지니 그 다지지로 자성을 상니 이 진핑으로 체비베게 설쳤나 들이 시합체 보이는 거 뒤가로들이 상하들이 유목이 실이 좋다고 요래 뒤뒤로 상하지 상하들이 다다다 멜람 가리키냐 그 요리들 산속 샘도 찍고리 샘을 나와들이 산속 샘을 통고 요리 들이 산속 샘을 샘을 나와서 다음 누구 박차다 나가 박차 라든지 되죠 또 받았다 요리 그런 거 저면에 제들 사마다 hin지 오늘 기자의 책이 짓을 나도 초와지 요리 속으로는 초와지 양태가 철저고 요리 들이 대 잡박차지 릉안이 박차 저들 들이 살고 랍상 샘을 샤네들이 생도면 오다고 때서 꼭공도 누구 박차 다로서 그래서 오늘 가면 왕업에 그 제름 그 누구 박차 로버트 다로 사드 셈 사드 사드 누구 박차 팔지로 그래 답을 셈나 달러든 하고 다스게 다가 책다 코바가 책 사기 이제 막 팔지로 나도 초박 가는 줄 알면 나도 다가 셈제 상마서 찍고 차는 거예요 고속을 눕지까지 찍고도 그치 뜻을 영들 똑같이 당 차로 뜻이 그치를 라트 나대들 습도 정말 정말 차로 정말 잘 내와들랑 이 생코를 하시게 되와래 생코를 사지가 다 봐서 박차지 들이 다 다진 이들의 체지 내도 소화제들이 차단이게 이들을 쳐봐 대라서 봐서 차단들이 양생대 초용하는 게 차로 대들이 딱 와서 라이스한다 나다 자른 좀 마음에 봐, 저런 좀 마음에 봐, 차는 거. 대여서 생고 싸움만 되고 요래. 있었으면 좋겠다. 마람이들도 류들이마다 생코라더니 나파는 길에 생각하다 하고서는 남들들이 소망을 했지. 사소를 남가요나 가는데 봐요 말이야. 상한 남들은 길에 대회들이 로가이 박차서 체인달더니 상집을 가병들이 깨르는 공소 조르는 공소들이 parto tamponi ni sokka con parto tampono tor te quieren con festa no con parto di fare trovo io ti ni so za senso la te parto chuko tor si portata te sagi come toplo ni le se de malangone te lascia una trinta pata ni sema sadio lascia sadio trinta ma trinta te parto ni parto longo tor te taposin hamen dogo io 그래서 체질을 보도 되지 좋고요. 그래서 다다는 설명을 해드려요. 그래서 설명 너무 좋아. 계속요. 너무 답지. 저는 저서 쳐다봤나 이거 너무 깨는 너무 봐 차고. 대다서 하다다 초월을 차와리. 상하 초월 때라고 너무 돈을 상하는 것다. 동대 저 이람.
Vielleicht ein Ausdruck, genau,
So in any case, we won't go into the history in Tibetan now because we don't have so much time. And so Lord Jigten Sumgön had said, now the difference between the sutras and tantras is the empowerment. So in the sutra path, we don't have an empowerment. And here we practice bodhicitta, the 6 paramitas, and that is the method to attain enlightenment over a long period of time. And now in the Vajrayana, in the secret mantra, we also cultivate bodhicitta. So in that sense, it is the same. Here we also need to separate from the selfish, self-cherishing mind. And here also we do that by developing the 4 immeasurables, such as love and so on. And if these are developed, then wisdom will expand. And this is then in the Vajrayana how we then transform the afflictive emotions into wisdom. And so the Vajrayana is also referred to as the swift path. And what makes it swift now? Now in terms of bodhicitta, it is the same as the sutra path. When we give rise to bodhicitta, we attain freedom of the mind. That must be the basis. But then still we have those karmic imprints of body and speech. We still hold forms and sounds that we perceive as possessing any true existence. We cling to the forms and sounds that we perceive. For example, even if you meditate, you develop bodhicitta, for example, or you meditate and then you hear something, then instantly your attention goes there. Or when you see something, it generates a certain reaction, a certain feeling. And then again, your mind becomes obscured. So in the Vajrayana, in order to purify these karmic imprints of body and speech, we visualize ourselves in the form of the deity and we recite the mantra. So when the deity arises in our mind being like a mirror, then the ordinary karmic imprints of the body are being purified. So in the base empowerment, for example, we receive the empowerment for the development stage or the visualization of the deity. And so then when you always visualize the deity, you begin to forget about your ordinary body. The deity always remains in your mind. And then likewise it is with the sound of the mantra. We just forget about the ordinary sounds, the ordinary words of the world, of samsara. We begin to not grasp at them and perceive all sound as mantra, then also those sounds do not generate a special feeling. And in this way the mind remains clear like water. For example, some people say when they join a Drupchen, they feel very happy. But then they say that at the end, when they get out, they are same like before. And so that's really why. It is because during the Drupchen, during the retreat, they are focused on the deity and the mantra. So in that way, their mind remains in its naturally pure state. And therefore they experience bliss, great happiness, which is the great bliss of their own true nature, because the mind itself is the Buddha. But then again, dualistic grasping of self and other arises. And again, when we get out of the retreat, our ordinary habitual patterns arise of perceiving things as happiness and suffering, and we become attached to the 5 sense pleasures and so forth. And that is just like the water becomes dirty again. Now, if you always sustain a clear perception of the deity and the mantra, then there will be no more grasping at form and sound. And then it is said, even if the 3 worlds were to be destroyed, there is no fear. So when you understand that the mind is like space, it is like you're traveling in an airplane. And when you're traveling in an airplane, then the clouds and the mountains and so on do not affect you. So the Vajrayana practice is like traveling in an airplane. And so through purifying these imprints, especially of body and speech, we attain enlightenment in this lifetime. For example, if you practice to the point where you recognize the luminous nature of mind, even in the deep sleep state, then at the time of death, you will attain enlightenment in the nature of the Dharmakaya. And if not, if you have a habit of practicing the deity and are able to sustain a clear vision of the deity within your mind, then you will attain liberation in the second bardo, in the Samboga Kayam, and will go to the pure land of the deity. So for this reason also it is very important that when you sleep, every time you wake up from sleeping, the moment you wake up you remember the deity and you remember the mantra. Then you will also be able to remember it when you wake up in the second bardom and therefore attain enlightenment in the Sambhogakaya nature of that deity. And this is actually what we call attaining liberation or enlightenment within one lifetime. And in that way, when that is accomplished, then just naturally, even if afflictive emotions arise, you will not, they will not affect you much. They will just melt on their own like ice or like a wave on water. They will not have any negative effect on you. And so this is then what we call the liberation of thoughts. So once this special experience of Vajrayana practice has arisen, this is what happens. The afflictive emotions, even if they arise, become liberated. They liberate themselves. And in this way one realizes the view of Vajrayana. And so this is the reason, because we purify those ordinary imprints of body and speech on the basis of bodhicitta, this is why the secret mantra path of Vajrayana is referred to as the swift path.
소주 상제 탐제 들린 남카가 팹대 요래 대삼제 탑랑 마체는 직선을 라마르들이 주신도 고초선데 거기엔데 이노 직제답 그 밤을 철시에 송답 주의들 레좀리 시에그 라마 교신이 소연하들 고초선도 그 요래 그 통상제 되는 생동관이들 삼지요나 이 사제 톡당아 최종마다 조가 최장 차리 어떻게 소속을 싸우려면 어떻게 탐지를 꽂혀서는 뒤도 하고는 이렇게 될수는 교신이 선수는 오늘 꽂혀서는 뒤서 될 소속 계산 심벌이 제가 초아치 못 제게 윤이 못 제게 돈은 하 사람들이 다달랑 가리 가시는 나와 가시는 참한테 제가도 같아서 되게 센디 너박스 가봐 먹을 거 봤다 그거 제타에 다낭 소미 요거리 인간이들이 다 소화다 바지지 거랬지.
And so when we receive the empowerment, also we should think that all the Buddhas of the 10 directions appear in the space before you. And Rinpoche says that he represents them all for you. And also in general it is said that we should regard the guru, the teacher, as the embodiment of the three jewels of the three times. And actually all the spiritual teachers are the embodiment of the three jewels. And that is, the guru's form is the Sangha, in that he abandons harming others entirely. Then the guru's speech is the Dharma, because he teaches us mainly the workings of karma, cause and effect. And the guru's mind is the Buddha. The mind is empty, and whoever then cultivates love really has the Buddha mind. There's only a difference in the degree of love that we develop, but it is the same in essence. So when you understand that your root guru embodies these three jewels, then whenever you meet any teacher, you will instantly feel that, oh, he also is an embodiment of the three jewels. And that's really to your own greatest advantage. Then always a great feeling of devotion and love arises whenever you see a Sangha member, for example. You will have a very special feeling. And whenever that feeling arises, that feeling of veneration and love, you are actually purifying so many obscurations. And actually in the Vajrayana, what's really essential as a foundation is such an unbiased, pure perception.
kann in uns ungute Eindrücke beseitigen, die wir über Zeitalter hinweg angesammelt haben.
다들 이들이잖아요. 주는 샘지, 군지, yap대, 염양이, 추지, 박소, 직바, 제례족, 조외, 왕보, 집순, 추지, 동하설, 동하설, 감섬, 동시, 제외, 제추, 제오종, 가치, 초다, 돈바대, 롭번, 주ነ, 공서솔, 장첩, 천부, 철진바, 굴보, 천보, 단찰로, 당색, 대니, 달라솔, 장첩, 샘장, 달라솔, 탑바, 천부, 공초대, 구부, 나네, 욕소소. 소부지 속안에고 주변 로마나 보고 대접장하고 대쇼와 공로 소부지 카나데 좋은데 거의 여주 도지람이 영역배만 바비시지 자주 산이번 넘버니 봐라 알아야 소부지 도고 상호주 이제 위주가 초임당 제바 남과진 장례 알고지 자도 저거 똑같이 자점이 사주선 제주 광고대 베니비 만났던데 저거 샤골고 봐저 디손담다 섬지 섬지라 샘데 대식이 보여 다 알베나 다서 보고 너도 보고 버저월 참아를 규적 봐 상식선 베리 사제가 끼래 대야 건들이 다 망보를 책 그래 다 너도 보고 야경 칸 쪽에서 너도 보고 보기서 차요라고 샘지 섬지 너도 보고 사제를 고고라 다소 공야면데 못 봤어요. 섭지 삼지 사지 버려 사지에 써야 되다. 사지 버려 삼는 거요. 못 봤어요. 다시 하고 고스고네. 섭지 삼지 사지 버려 사지가 렉 요래 된다 하고.
So what this section in the empowerment text said is that basically all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, and as such, all sentient beings really are like the children of the Vajra Master. So there was this whole visualization on how one enters the mouth of the Vajra Master with consort and then is born as this child of the Vajra Master. But really, our mind is all the same. We all are of the Buddha kind. We have Buddha nature. So really all sentient beings are like a child of the Buddha. So the Vajra Master here should be seen as a representative of the Buddha.
책임은 것도 요매 샤브가 진출다 좀 봤지 이제 왕지 봐라 네 같이 진출다 좀 봤지 소포는 안 그게 보고 얘는 저기 참 풀이고 단대 생긴 달아서 살을 쏟다 달아서 살서 기르지 같아 대왕 사마리 전에 요래 저요래
So part of this repetition, which I would like us to also repeat in our own languages. Please repeat. Great joyful one, my teacher, master, please consider me, supreme master, who guides on the path to great awakening. Please grant me Samaya, grant me the mind of awakening, grant me the three refuges of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Protector, let me enter the exalted city of great liberation.
출라 처진 너희들이야 상하주 저 좋아하는 출라ян다지 뭐사 독보산지 강대당 대위 강 대위 강다마종상 다다정와 독상지 로라편에 조관나마 대다고 저 상하지 좋아하던 분들 지인에 빠워서 출신도 당제지마 재미니 상하주반 냠인데 좋아하셨자 성계에 de shin de shed me pa pokin ta jan de zhong ji ni zhou do ne de ko lo ko ne yang yin de we kum chi tao zi ce bo lo dun de ji she yo da che do sang ge le san chok sen sen de shi wo san chok sen nan dong la zhou sang ye kong pang yo le ba wo zi da jing hang yo ma da di men jing hang yo ma san ji jing hang yo ma be de da ta chang zhe 상하를 초가를 몇 바요 받아서 가와서 보래 다쳐서 상하 땡기.
And so what this section said is that you possess Buddha nature, and if you now also develop bodhicitta, you will attain enlightenment. You will become courageous, fearless, because when there is no grasping at a self, then there is no fear. The Buddhas have no fear. So you are devoted and you aspire towards the practices of secret mantra. You are very fortunate. Therefore, I will show you the teachings on secret mantra.
권조 somla da japchi dekpa mege so sha rowe gela ji rang sangje changche yi ji zong sangje chu dang tom chola changche Bardo, Japsen Chi, Rangjin, Pone, Rabdrupser, Chancho, Semne, Ji Parje, Chancho, Choker, Semne, 찌기네
Gene,
샘진
Samchin,
탐제
Amche,
다키
Dake,
농더녀
Drondonier,
장첩
Changchu,
중초
Changchu,
이용
Yibon,
제발지
Jembahi,
로라
Dola,
핀설
Hanser,
상제
Sanke,
럽발조
Dolbasho. And please repeat. I take refuge in the three jewels and confess all evil and unvirtuous deeds. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings and hold the Buddha's awakening in mind until attaining awakening. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly in order to fully accomplish the purpose of others and myself. I give rise to bodhicitta, having given rise to the mind of supreme awakening. I welcome all beings. I will practice the supreme bodhisattva conduct that is pleasing to all. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings.
Da lade ich alle Lebewesen zu mir als Gast. Ich werde das beste Handeln des Bodhisattvas üben, das Wohlergehen für alle bringt. Und ich werde Buddha-Erwachen erlangen zum Wohle aller Lebewesen.
난디 왕 탐지라 돼요 왕 최종 가이나 딜라 라이 돈을 잡았을 때 삼지요는 라이 니가 돈냐도 주고 나도 각각 고걸 말했지 나도 그 차라리지 내가 돌게 되와 먹고지나 타고래 타속 사지 거만 먹고지나 통을 별 조편중이나 조들 지랑 조들랑 조고요 조들 이 맛이 받으냐도 내서고요 빼지다 좀 충충도 빼잖아 충산을 쌓아놓고 치사를 빼놓으면 말이야 너는 삼지를 못하게 취직이 가르치나 이것도 그래 가는데 세대 루루 차지 시합이 오래 대거든요 라비스노라고 그러지 이 산쪽 세대 은혜도 가리 오래 되나 심지 탐지에 세와 오래지 심지 탐지 하고 차고서 로지 대사 족서를 심지 탐지다 그러는 예지 대를 되게 대 돈도 돈까지 산쪽 중초 이용 개발이 매 삼지를 못하게 깨자시나 사막가가 요리지 내가 가르치 릉아에서 가와까는 밑에 다 사막가가 요리지 배치부잖아 땅에서 자탐치 진발로 오래지 레마다는 용 세리 마도도 저 매막시 가가 요리 배시다 가르치 가가 요리들 선들 산쪽 세우는 가가 요리지 산쪽 진노 용기 발제지 이렇게 마다나 다 특정 마상무제들 상제로 요리지 작전은 자고문을 태면 저들은 좋은 아주 쇼로 요리지 쇼도면은 쇼로 요리지
So actually, no matter what level of empowerment we receive, this supplication we actually always repeat because everything is complete within that. And it says in this text that bodhicitta accomplishes the dual purpose of others and oneself. So if you develop love, then the purpose of yourself and others will be accomplished simultaneously. So there is no need to actually search for a separate individual purpose for yourself. It happens naturally. If you have love, even if you say, I don't want to attain happiness, you will attain happiness. For example, if there's two friends, two companions who live together and who love each other, then if there's true love, then they will be able to stay together with each other until they die. So actually, we should rather think about it with small examples like that. There's no benefit in seeing it in such a vast, overwhelming way. But just a small example like this shows the quality of love. And therefore, if you have that, a person who has love will be successful in all their activities, whether Dharma practice or mundane activities. Because when there is love, the mind will be in a relaxed state, and then wisdom will naturally arise. So, what actually is bodhicitta? Bodhicitta really is the mind of love for all sentient beings, the wish for all their happiness. So love is the wish for the other's happiness. And that is meant here with this line, I welcome all beings. And then I practice the bodhisattva conduct that is pleasing to all. A person who possesses love, whatever they say, everyone will like it. It is pleasing to all. Whatever they do with body and speech will be pleasing to all. To give a bigger example, for example, His Holiness Dalai Lama, everyone likes him. Maybe there are a few of impure karmas who don't like him, but most people really like him. And why do they like him? It is because of the bodhicitta in his mind. And so therefore, if you never separate from bodhicitta, you will attain enlightenment, even if you're not wishing for it, even if you don't want to. For example, when an ice block encounters heat, it is bound to melt. Even if the ice block says, I don't want to melt, it will melt.
Da wird dadurch nach und nach auch im Umfeld eine Freude wirksam. Immer dort, wo wir voller Liebe und Freundlichkeit sind, sind wir in einem Zustand innerer Entspannung. Und dieses Entspanntsein bringt automatisch unsere Intelligenz hervor, lässt unsere Intelligenz erwachen. Was ist die Grundlage dafür, dass man mit dieser Geisteshaltung vollkommenes Buddha-Erwachen erreichen kann?
他这当地里说话个地方，妈妈他当然这个那个如果一个没给我经的话，大家这个连差不弄上去，到上面去的多，讲面去的里头的，给希望这个说个啥的都给的人，这的有人这的，东当我们啥的你要买的，这了等于那个老外这个大金你的这了这个差当个来啥了的。 펜으로 바로 와서 적당 거를 버리 인선진에서 무슨진에 들이 들려서 왔더니 레그 박차 뒤에다 무슨들이 놓고도 오면 열애들이 적진종을 나서 왔대 담지 이제 리 차과라는 게 대삼절에서 니 받게 열애 대삼절 니 받게 놀라 다지 레 박차 든지 다 고소를 니 받게 찰성 그런 수송상 거래.
And so then, with the cause of clinging to a self in previous lives, we have engaged in much negative action with body and speech. We have harmed others. And now they return as our karmic creditors to collect their karmic debt. So in order to purify this karmic debt that we have created with them, we offer them a gift. So we speak about obstructors and evil spirits and so forth. Actually, from the ultimate perspective, gods and spirits and so on, demons don't exist. Only due to a temporary, momentary condition, they arise out of a belief in a dualistic existence of self and other. And because of that, there is an attachment to one side and resentment against the other side. We believe in the truth of our perceptions and labels, so this enemy, this obstructor arises and then causes actual harm in the form of either human or non-human being. So we are offering them a gift in order to purify this karmic debt that is still open with them. And what we are really purifying is those karmic imprints and especially now self-grasping.
Soju,
Soju,
Jiktin,
Jikten,
Samye,
Samye,
Pamina,
Pamena,
Kosum,
Kosum,
Dokpe,
Dzogpe,
Sanji,
Sangye,
Jenyi Jel,
Jenye Jel,
Yokshin,
Joshin,
Nyamya,
Namsha,
Rodar,
Chondor,
Teda La,
Kedala,
Chuje,
Cheke,
Kolo,
Kolo,
Lami,
Lame,
Korvarkar,
Korvakur,
Tisam,
Desum,
Dershik,
Tershe,
Nyangi,
Nyame,
Davji Pa,
Tershe,
Peda,
Penda,
Kunla, Dagi,
Dake,
Tarjarte,
Tanjante,
Rove,
Dove,
Tunda,
Tanto,
Karpa,
Karpa,
Pamita,
Pameto,
Yokshin,
Yoshin,
Tukji,
Tongche,
Tongze,
Tenze,
Sorvande,
Sorvate,
Jimi,
Yeme,
Ngangli,
Mangre,
Yishi,
Yeshe,
Kurtungshin,
Kurtonshin,
Tukji,
Tongche,
Chenpu,
Chembe,
Kunla,
Pena,
Chamzepa,
Chansembe,
Bawo,
Pao,
Dundar,
Dundu,
Sanje,
Sangye,
Tamje La,
Tangela,
Jangchuk,
Tangchu,
Partha,
Bardo,
Dani,
Dane,
Japsanche,
Tapseche,
Samsar,
Samsa,
Chutang,
Chodan,
Dikpa,
Dekpa,
Shala So,
Shanasa,
Gewa,
Deva,
Yinji,
Shanti,
Teda,
Veda,
Tamje Kun, Lami, Sancho, Chenbo, Tobze Sir, Dagi, Yanda, Yongsa, Moarje. Sayang 산이 요래. 양 지랑데. 근데 뭐 착살해. 뭐라. 로마 신제시도 사회적 도지 홍보 때가 배워 홍내 톡 도지 홍보 도지 등뒤 요아서 버터버터 레바페 마마 본다마 저거 때와 알레 송 도지 바보 페마도 뒤 요아서 버터 자원 콜로 가보서 빈베와 옴레 거도지 가본 콜로 등뒤 요아서 아 저거 뭐这把这头上真送行者，我啥家当结巴，个这个说我就当多了他，我往后头拉的拉也未必也有的，这我拉个不也有，拉嘛不也有，后来拉我不也有，到底长了一点，那些我往后就都是都光的，我这个是那个人啊一什么子吧。没法查着，有的什么叫说的听，这我往后这讲，我往后这爸爸这那个那时候有啥，这我们现在这样，我们现在这样在这里，在那里花出中从往这里，叫人啊这个干部马部，不什要用我们来瞧个要的，这我们头些人的把要的，这也人别人上班没不地方出来养要的，7、8要的。这往红说过呢，这办法这个这这嘛是红光的那这个可以讲出了这光啊是。
So here you should visualize that the 3 places of all the deities, and also yourself visualize as the deity, are the syllables white Om, red Am, and blue Hong. So all the deities in Yapyum aspect have those 3 syllables actually, and by visualizing those 3 syllables, the fixation to ordinary body, speech, and mind dissolve. So if you're able to visualize it and visualize those 3 syllables at the 3 places, luminous with light, and also think that then from these syllables arises form, vajra, speech, vajra, and so on, the deities that are small, like an inch, and have the nature of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and are white, red, and blue. And if you're able to visualize this, then that's also very powerful, because through the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, the 5 Buddha families, and visualizing them, also an experience of undefiled bliss may arise within us. But also it is sufficient, if that's difficult, to just visualize these 3 syllables or mahong without grasping at anything. And even if that is difficult, you can just visualize the syllable hong as usual. So basically, you can visualize or meditate upon whatever comes easiest to you.
이게 라 제탄들이 초반 먹었더니 초반 받다가 온배다 부밤자대서 와 온배다 부밤자대서 깔아서 봐 야만하다 부밤자대서 와 깔아서 봐 야만하다 부밤자대서 와 깔아서 봐 야만하다 알로그라데서 와 깔아서 봐 야만하다 게데라데서 와 깔아서 봐 야만하다 네베데라데서 와 이제 고소 도지선 기바드네 도마메가 로가에서 도마메가 선 목소리 사통하나 되게 텔랑지는 좀 봐요만 내가 마사페 세고라시는 근데 나동 차들 제가 로가에서 도지선 도지 가르치는 그 루드면은 그 생활 제치기 요 말이 선남카를 제시면 만하기 this don't serve 제시면 하고 도지에 생활 도지에 다를 도지 창에서 하고는 그래요.
So now Rinpoche just made offerings to the deity, and now we have said that the 3 body, speech, and mind become the 3 vajras, and what that means is that then transforming into the 3 vajras, we become free of grasping at the ordinary body, speech, and mind. And as such, then the mind continues to abide within a natural, clear and empty state without fixating onto anything. Within the natural state of the mind, there is no concept, no grasping. It is naturally clear and empty. And now the reason why we call it Vajram is because when there is no body, the mind itself is beyond birth and death, arising or decline. It always is as it is, abiding like space. And within space, there is no coming and going, birth or death. So therefore, being immutable by nature, the nature of mind is like a Vajra, or like the Buddha Vajradhara.
두들이 독도 고민이 배 마음은 죽과다 디바치셰서 고가시 파이더니 누군가 가래를 홍주나 세라 심보를 차 매점바로 당 때만이 봐 그니 누군가 가래라 다종들이 가래라 뭐야 사서 뭐야 사서 가래는 냐바이레스 대사를 그니 심바닥 잡아서
So what it says here is that through that we become free of grasping at the sense pleasures. And then whatever you enjoy, whichever of the 5 sense pleasures you enjoy, you do so without fixation. So not like ordinary, where we are attached to, for example, a pleasant flavor and we have an aversion against something unpleasant. Everything becomes the same. There is no more difference in flavor. There's no more preference. You are, for example, able to eat anything. Everything is the same. So whatever you enjoy with a mind free of clinging attachment.
머리 사리왕 나무 쇼를 되는지 먼저 참아 렉갈 주제요. 렉갈만 만들이요 말이. 렉갈 유몽가 레리를 유몽 사고요. 뺐다가 들이 대너기들이 속치 휴즈비는 막 같이 시당 속치고 같이도 자 속치고 대를 가까이 그때 때문에 다음에 들이 다 소정들 비나 들이 렉조가를 이제 하고 요래 대그 소정 빈 것들이 되는 미망 보고 탑라들은 비나 저도 소소를 가요는 비기 요래 탑지는 빈 거가 상황이 말아 상황 빈 말이야.
So next is the casting of the flower, which then indicates, which is like a twig of a tree, which indicates the city to be attained. And so in general, when we receive an empowerment, then each person may have a different connection to a certain deity and city, but all of them are included within the 5 Buddha families, or the 5 afflictive emotions. And we actually have them all, but for some people, for example, anger is stronger than others, or for other people, desire is stronger. And then corresponding to that, the twig or the flower may fall on a certain family, of a Buddha family. So this is how it is explained in general, but since there's a lot of people today, we cannot all cast that flower. So there will be someone representing all of you and casting it for all of us together, and the family that is indicated should be considered the principal family.
자, 론업들 시작해서 탑지 레탑지는 좀 때문에 레탑지 레스리 유몽아지 시간 성우로 삼아요. 레탑지 좀 때문에 저거를 머리 빈건 비대요 말아. 레탑지다 레 트레이저 좀 좋고요.
And so, since not everybody can cast that flower, Rinpoche represented it, and so it sort of fell into all the directions. We can see it like that. So basically, it's auspicious for us that we can all accomplish all of the 4 enlightened activities, or transform all of the 5 afflictions into the 5 wisdoms.
네 마크니 공부 삽제는 사마들이 저들이 라면 유모가 사마지 장마지서 그래서 제가 저기 대표에 초치게 맞지 마 장마서 가셔셔라 그리고 소속들이 통사를 했더니 추제 통사를 동사발이라 다다다 땜들 그랬더니 오늘이
So next is the offering of the palm water, so the water that we receive in our palm. Actually, we have already received it before when we entered the temple, and that is in order to purify our verbal obscurations. So that has already happened. It is to purify our afflictive emotions, and so now to represent that for auspicious connection, we will sprinkle some water.
저땅 사하가 따와라더니 나시 락걸 고발지 사하를 보도도 사하 따와는 신은 좋아 이제 참아라리 드리지부터 이제 변 생제용도 사진스레 다 속고요래 사진스진 송제 베스에서 사하 때와도 괜찮아요 대마신스니 다다 라마 디비신이는 데 잠보링이 바르다치 땅을 사하 따와 하고서는 미파이보다 지금 생답이 문이 사지를 같이 해도 생 타발이 신호 생도 사지 무슨 독도고요. 됐다고 저기 선나도 온데 다른 마도 특히 삼체 사지에 받고 독고요. 네감이다. 상하감 참말 생듯이 인 보이고 그래. 온자 로버트 마들이 나한테는 유모 보다니 다시 메시지 장이를 담다 내가 맞다 들어라서 버리면 들어 삼체 생듯이 인 보이고 some 상계야 우리 지상고지 중국 또 남집에 남 세부도 와 장고
And so now, in general, it is said in the view regarding the view of Vajrayana, that when you understand that everything that appears and exists is the divine form of the deity, that actually is the perfect development stage or the deity yoga of secret mantra. So if you really understand the view of secret mantra, then you will actually be able to see all the four elements, for example, as the deity. For example, a tree or anything in the outer environment, you will see it as a Buddha that performs some benefit for sentient beings. So the view of secret mantra is quite strange, but it shows us really how things really are. If you don't know it, then even if you meet a lama, for example, a spiritual teacher, you will always evaluate them in terms of their faults and qualities, good or bad. But if you really understand the view of Vajrayana, no need to mention beings, human beings, for example, you will even see the trees and the elements as a Buddha who performs the benefit of sentient beings. And each of them that you encounter, you will see as a Buddha. Each sentient being you will see as a Buddha. And you realize that these are just concept labels that we label a tree with, for example. We call it a tree. But really performing the benefit of beings and consisting of the four elements, it really can also be seen as a Buddha. It really is a Buddha. And also all beings possess Buddha nature. They are only temporarily obscured by self-grasping and their afflictive emotions. So temporarily they appear as humans or as animals and so on. But also animals have Buddha nature and they can attain enlightenment. So, for example, water, the quality of water here at this point, we have to remember it. What is the benefit or what happened? What does water do? And how would it be if we wouldn't have water? For example, in the future, we will probably encounter a lot of difficulties with the water in this world. And actually, as the love in our hearts diminishes, and to the same degree, also water in the world will dry out. So actually, we can really understand in this way that water also is actually a Buddha. So the Vajrayana, for example, is introduced based on symbols, and the water really has a quality of a cleansing property. So when you drink water and then it sustains your life, on the outer level you can use it to clean. But anyways, outer or inner, the property of water is to cleanse.
Om Beshuda Sava Dhamma Sava Papam Ne Da Sai Hodaya Sava Bekala Vi Apanaya Sova Dakusha Tamalam Taki Chekiyore and the Malam Dala Tekashika Malam Chipose, you know, Malam Gibaya. Malam ngi bata sa ko ni am ngi yo malam ngi ba ngi gi ko mari ta nga malam to cha ni so na to la ni mai ta malam ngi ba sa ga sha da chang sha ki ke chero gi dor che de ji da ja ko yo te ka shi malam sang bo yo me gi yo de sang bo la ta chi la ha le ya yo ma ngi ba la gi ko mari sa ngi ba da to ma na ba de ga an to gi ko ma cha go yo de malam ta de ka shi de 양무스 양 차블가 sla도 어디 Dhamma salam gu yun yin se tawa mingi yore de salam gu yun yin la se sabchila gata ma yin ti garu de so yang ngba la na so sami ho te se takchi lang chok yore de ge dala tin che tong malam sabchila malam de ba me ba ma par te ke de malari pe so mari do de na to che o so to se ba sang o so那多嘛那么上不了吃，你把它当然我吃不了，你怎么那么外面啊？这些人也不会。
Next, we will receive the gusha grass, which is given to us in order for us to examine our dreams the coming night. And so some people will have more positive dreams, some will have more negative dreams. But whatever is the case, you should not think too much about it. If you feel that your dream was negative, then you should see it as an encouragement for you to engage in practice, such as practicing confession or any other Dharma practice. But in any case, you should not think too much about it. You shouldn't see it as so negative. And if you have a good dream, then you should not feel so impressed about it. Then also let it go. Don't think much about it. Then there is some people who have a certain dream that is like an indication of their deity that they have a karmic connection to from previous lives, showing them how to ripen certain qualities along the stages and paths. There's all kinds of dreams you might have, but even if that happens, you should not feel too pleased about it, because then you're actually falling under this way of the demon of the son of the gods, of infatuation. So don't think too much about it. So we just examine them tonight for the sake of auspiciousness. But in the future, as a result of this auspiciousness, we should become free of grasping at our dreams. For example, Milarepa had said that the greatest demon are your own thoughts, and your best friend is your own belief, your own faith. So whatever dream arises, when you begin to cling to that dream and develop an attachment or a fear and so on towards the dream, then it causes a lot of harm. Normally, like continuously, even though we are examining the next night's dream, it is best if you do not think much about your dreams and you do not cling or grasp at them.
这大头痛了哎，咋着么的？另个下了，上嘛等底下了，另个下了呀，你药也杀了跑的，往多的贴把钱你哭过来。
And so you will receive one short and one longer a strand of a piece of the grass. And so the shorter reed, you place it under your pillow vertically, so horizontally, sorry, and then the longer reed vertically under your mattress, so it forms sort of like a T. Then you fall asleep on your right hand side and fall asleep practicing the Om Ahung Vajra recitation.
강제 돈이 시대 바유 인해서 근데 사가 하다를 저는 송아 그 바탕에 다당 하를 쓰니 하를 시바서는 다당 하가 빈 배는 대에다 그 바탕 두고 요 말에 내가 당신을 사가 하오나 사가 무슨 되는 거다는 틈기 요래 마저 받아서 쓰와요 하가지 바게 대체 부바 포고 부바 인 먹고 부바는 다시 이로 제 공합에 되는 뜻에 담네 내가 왕지 수령에 소화 나와니 제 가지 수령 사지 수령 하다 사지 양양의 주인 거래.
Then you are also receiving a protection string that you tie around your upper arm, and it is also
부모 사람들 예.
And so it is a protection in the sense that it reminds you of the deity. So it is a support to sustain mindfulness and awareness. So whenever you feel it or you see it, you remember the deity again. Actually, it is that emptiness is actually, this realization of emptiness actually is the state of mindfulness. So it is also said that the mantra should be understood to be the deity. So the thread, this protection string, reminds you of the deity and the mantra. It is like the mantra and the deity have dissolved into that string, just like the love that a mother has for her child. And so how you wear it is, if you're male, then you wear it on your left-hand side, and if you're female, then you wear it on your right upper arm. And every time you see it or you feel it, remember the deity, recite a few mantras. It is important to remember the deity again and again.
Fördert und wieder anregt, so wie es in den Schriften heißt, umsichtig, wer um dieses Lehrsein weiß. Erinnert uns dieses Band daran, nicht unter dem Einfluss von Gemütsverwirrung zu geraten.
드린다는데 다다 손그린데 가리 대체 샘마양지와 숨때지도 네 지탑하나 레더니 오한도 이제 대봐더니 샘 탕쪽 유진내나들이 쌈집에 잡아平요래 곰지와平요대 사지에 수마리 막그 뭐 중중진 통소 탑아짐 도는 성도 탕직삼 이 tun쇼나 감성과만 만나면 소시면은데 동시에 검잡나 도매가 차원지 허리가 잡고 센티 잡고 거예요. 되게 시간들이 말고 생기 망보들이 별로 잡지는 쪼려보더니 차로 먹어서도 어때요. 하자 병무치 뭐 디스너들이 탑지 신의 내주다 시바세 주더니 내주 탑코나 차들 시바요가 탑 당시 제사로 상하더니 놀라들 타로 머리 패위를 깔려 먹보자 왜 자기 왕초세는 들이 밥 송을 가지고 왕수들이 같이 빼다고 하고 저도 네요 보리 삼님 쳐봐래 제시해로 수남을 타고요 같이 이 qabli 작은지 아 대즈와라 이 들이 왕가에서는 손송하더니 선 통조요래 나살로래 라지 그 맛을 농아에서 가는 송아 통이 좋아 르부에 좋아 특别좋아 엄마는 그게 홍 농이 좋아 뜻이미 대답지 사제가 쓰는 사고 탑라더니 통조 주조 용조 선지에서 말에 그 산용화가 가면 뜻이미 용조로 보고 요래 대답지 조로 되는 거래 나디는 좋고 요래 조를 드셔 조기 띡 봐도 진짜 띡 봐도 요 말이 나디가 창게 그 조를 타로 탄나만 하소들이 선고요래 너는 대답지 동직을 하고 그래 신체지도 내 삼형지지나 들다지 삼형지 회계를 자공을 쇼로고요 애들이 왕문조들이 도다들 그 같이 있다고 저는 그 같이 되나 같이 내토고요 같이 양파로 올라 너는 진실이 그럴 때는 진실이 되는 요걸 왔는데 돈 거트 진실이 도다해서 그렇지부터 말 그렇지 도다 진실하고 될 거만 되나 진실이 되지 말아 아이고 봐야
And so the purpose really of this protection string is so that you sustain a state of non-distraction, of single-pointedness. So it's really only for that purpose, essentially. And as such, it is actually of a similar benefit than the practice of the Om Mahom Vajra recitation. So the moment you're mindful and in that moment, actually, you are in a state of meditation. And the benefits of meditation are incredible. The Buddha himself had explained it. I saw that once when I was very young in a sutra called the Sutra of Great Liberation. It says to meditate in a state of meditative absorption for just a single session is of greater benefit than to liberate the lives of all sentient beings in the three realms of samsara. And it is because when you really meditate, you become free of all conceptual thoughts. And when there is no thinking in the mind, then that mind naturally pervades all of samsara and nirvana. And many ignorant sentient beings become benefited. They benefit from that. For example, if you have a lot of ice blocks floating on the water and all of a sudden heat arises, then many ice blocks will melt. So the benefits of resting in such a state of meditation are really incredible. So all of these various teachings and practices are really just a method for that, for the mind to sustain mindfulness. And so now many of you came from very far away, and that entails a lot of hardship in order to receive this empowerment. So now when you have received this string, keep it, hold on to it, and every time you see it, remember the empowerment, remember mindfulness. Every time you're mindful, you accumulate merit. And also another thing that you will receive is this armband, this wristband, this bracelet that contains the liberation by seeing mantra on the outside and the liberation by touch mantra on the inside. And in that way, by wearing that, wherever you go and whoever sees that will benefit from that. So that is liberation by seeing and touching. Then there is liberation by hearing, for example, Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. Then there is liberation by tasting, like the blessing pills. So all of these are methods given by the Buddha for sentient beings to accumulate merit. And tomorrow during the empowerment, you will also receive those blessing pills, liberation by tasting. And liberation here, what that means is that what we really must become liberated from is the bondage of clinging to self. And so there's only one thing that we need to be free from, and that is self-grasping. Even though there's just one thing to be free from, there are many methods that are taught to become free from that. But it's important to know that even though there are many different practices, they all are taught for one and the same purpose. So every time you develop love and compassion, the ice block of self-grasping is melting. So that is basically the preliminary practice of the empowerment, the preparation part.
다다 권초 숨종들이 저는 사진 좋아 공 지시소 공 대만 정자들이 대만 정자들은 600공 대는 중장들이 추처지 양수리 처박공 하죠 공고 하죠 공배들 권초 숨종을 변해들이 나와 사집에 대만 정화 대리 쇼트바다 하죠 가와서 뭐 내가 속마서 배는 차로 됐다 도당 마체는 최인장 남양들이 차로 됐다 속고 말이에요. 그래서 너사 저당 남발 쇼트바 제는 사하를 쇼트바들이 먼저 레몬합사 치보래 내는 민망한 독서는 담벌 같이 나니까 제 쇼트거리 쇼트들이 같이 양이 제 무슨 양이 제 설명 그래 다다 왕국까지 그자만 보시에 요래 다시 자기는 책을 이래마도 가시 제초고요만 제마토는데 세들 고마송을 기와 능그 전에 고체에서도 돌아면서 상고서 왕그 비용대성을 다시 주는 보여만 그래 후망하게 다 왕먹고 저거 참아 왕 비용 참아 따와니 왕 사람들 몇 잡아야도 왕 들고 가는 들어오게 책도 주는 고소로 타고 성우태도 왕 같이 지나 맞아 소종 왕을 도 소종 소종을 그래서 상하이 쇼트 받아 가서 거의 소통 제와 든 그들이 왕그 제가 있었어도 왕수 진짜 양이야 맞지 왕그 동양 가야 마고 왕수 정말 이 가리들 들식이 보이고 빼나 그래서 진 잠시나 사진 보는 것도 없고 들이 다스다 대용을 문함도 하고 그랬다 장부 주반 보나 조종 문한테 다사기 다스다 전에 안다버는 장비요 문함도 따로 하자 병주 보지 냠이 맞으면 보는 땅장 답되네 그 사진 좀 듣고요 대들 도다 하시고 내가 대서 하고 지 무슨이야 장부 주반 보나는 대서 하고 보는 답이 하자 사시보래 장주 종족 내가 보는 답이 문항 뒤에 따면 자가 탐식이 잡죠요래. 근데 자카고 매치 자카고 레디지 내가 실수 자카고 때문에 잡죠 빼시다. 이 잡이도 맛있으니 고쳐서 원방에 문항 덮으면 문항 귀시 보여요. 그래서 문항을 같이 고마송 상고요. 고마송 알아게 잡아 성탭디요.
So also here in the recitation it was mentioned that there are 3 jewels, and so the 3 jewels are referred to as rare.
네다다 사하조와 공제 사지 공초서부터 나래 사지 대반 요바공 추수바고 대레초바고 그런 사하왕 사하는 좋다바 공부를 하장 공부서 예초도 사지 bet가
So rare, because first of all it is rare. The 3 jewels, the term means rare, the rare ones, supreme and rare. And rare because in general it is rare for the Buddha to even appear. Even if the Buddha appears, it's rare for him to teach the Dharma. Then it's more rare for the Dharma to remain, and then for there to be followers who enter the Dharma. And then even if someone has entered the Dharma, it's even more rare for there to be someone who practices the Dharma in an authentic way. So it gets increasingly rare, and that is why the 3 jewels are referred to as the rare ones. So we are extremely fortunate for having entered the Buddha's teachings in general, but especially the Vajrayana, because if we would have never entering the teachings, the ice block will remain an ice block if it doesn't encounter any warmth. So even though its nature is water, it will never become water, it will never melt. So in general, it is very rare for us to have entered the Buddha's teachings, and even more rare, the Vajrayana. And that is only due to the prayers and that we have done in previous lives. For example, think about how many people in this world actually have been able to enter the Buddha Dharma, and then how many are really able to practice it perfectly. So to receive an empowerment is actually of an immense fortune. And actually, even if we hear a lot of words, it will be difficult for us to understand everything in there. But even if you don't understand everything, even if you understand actually nothing, it is said in a text that explains the benefits of receiving the empowerment. There it says that even if you understand nothing of the empowerment, and even if you never practice it your entire life, still the benefits of the empowerment will ripen after 7 lifetimes. So whatever you have heard will never actually be lost, even if you do not understand it right now. And so therefore, even when animals, for example, hear those words, at least the seed of liberation is planted. So for this reason, it is actually good to receive many empowerments. In the sutra path, for example, we have a practice called the sojong of purifying and restoring. And the empowerment is like the sojong of the Vajrayana. So now we have entered that and we have received that. So we, even if we don't understand any of that, still it will remain within us like a seed, because we possess Buddha nature. And through the power of the Buddha's prayers, once we encounter the right conditions in a future life, then through the power of the Buddha's aspirations, and it will come to fruition because the seed has been planted. And that's why actually it's also very important to understand the power of prayers. For example, especially the King of Aspirations, prayer for excellent conduct, or the Bodhicharya Vatara prayer, which now have been translated into various languages and been distributed around the world. Actually, for example, I myself do not have much learning, but I do have a little understanding on, for example, the prayer of excellent conduct. And it is actually said that if you only pray, then at some point in the future, only through the power of that, you will also attain enlightenment. Because if you pray, then the Buddhas will support you. Just like when you are a citizen of a country, then the country will support you. Because once you have taken the refuge vow, you become like a subject of the 3 jewels. Therefore, all your aspirations will be accomplished. So therefore, even if you don't understand much, don't think I haven't understood anything, because at the very least, the seed of liberation is planted.
Sambale yime yum sema jiba nyo che yo malam zang na lo tin zang ngina songo tab sara yo malam zang a kang malam chang pon tu che to de malam ta re le de ke se che che yo ma che da a ran su so ke malam zang pon o la ge sa ta ne ba ta re de de ran ge sa ji yang nyam yin de shuk ta me de malam ngine se yang ge za 이 잡아라 소바 드니 좋아하는 소상자다 세면다 사족집이 모함냐다야 야 드랑게 롱아기가 남자 데려서 봐 마 가리 지를 잡아들이 잡이 양힘 버려들라 뭐망보노나 드니 라나 그게 다 가리 신아 대속자 게 인기부터 이다도 고요 말 기와시바 놀 샘되게 샘기는 피고 선은 로스 무슨 라를 쳐버려 얼마 말을 쳐버려 말이 너는 샘기를 피면 동이 뜻을 조로래 그러면 나오서들이 센터 시진 차공 차로래 너는 삼대삼 말아왔지 그랬더래 만왕이 봐잖아 오 삼바sem이 양산야도 공부해 다디는 때들이 만왕이 봐도 다디 그 조요에 말아 막 봐서 어떻게 나가 지금 박차도 변했지 시행하고 사실은 다 양비는 거요래 뭐도 총총 찾아오래 맞을 못대로 비시게 올라 만남 또 가사까냐 산을 꼭 가지 버리면 뭐도 와 랑 박차게 나지 말아 호그도 왔다 그래 sam 뜻이 생을 빠져봤는 채도 빠져야 줄 거래 서로 요나 나지 광가 소리 사족서를 말씀드려 simply 상한테 저 누가 땅님 말하면 말이 그 조들이 삼리기 선을 말아봤지 내 방하다면 오마홍 돈을 주고래 니랑 동사 대리 다들 실적으로는 뭐요.
So here the empowerment text speaks about the different kinds of dreams and how to interpret them, but there's just too much about that right now. Basically, in brief, we can say if your dream is positive, then you can see it as a sign of the deity's blessings being close, and it should inspire you to make an effort in practicing the deity. And if the dream is negative, then it should encourage you to engage in the practice of virtue. For example, reciting the 100-syllable purification mantra, or practicing confession and so forth, or making prayers to develop bodhicitta. Practice any virtue of body or speech, or meditate with your mind, or recite many Manjushri mantras, for example. But basically, whatever virtues practice you already are used to, whatever you already know, that is what you can just continue doing. There is no need to do a certain other practice. Because what we call virtue and practice really is nothing else but a wish to benefit sentient beings. And if you have that, then it makes no difference which deity or which mantra you practice. They all are for the sake of benefiting sentient beings, and they all are the warmth that makes the ice block melt. The moment you think of me and I, you are again solidifying into an ice block. So, in brief, what you need is to never separate from love, whether your dreams are good or bad. Actually, negative dreams mainly arise from a strong grasping at a self. And actually, in my own life, it also happened many times before, especially when I was young. For example, there was this bug, like an insect, like a leech like latches onto your skin. I was really afraid of in general. And because I was so afraid of this insect, of this creature, I always had dreams about that, and I saw it everywhere in my dreams, in my bed, all over the place. And I always felt it's going to harm me, it's going to bite me. And it is because whatever you have seen once and that has generated fear in you is just like you have taken a picture with a camera. Your mind is just like a camera that takes imprints. And so those negative dreams are all created by self-grasping. And therefore, if there is only bodhicitta in your mind, a wish to benefit others, you will not have any negative dreams in general. They cannot arise. So whether your dream is good or bad, the essence is you need to cultivate love and compassion. When you fall asleep, also what you can do is practice the Om Ahung Vajra recitation.
Was immer wir einen guten tun, mit einer Absicht, dass es für alle Lebewesen von Vorteil sei, dass daraus Wohl und Nutzen für alle entsteht. Wenn es das Kleinste ist, was wir auch begehen, aber mit dieser großartigen Herzenabsicht durchführen, dann wird es automatisch in uns die Kraft des guten Herzens schulen. Und das ist die Hauptaufgabe. Weil das Ungünstige in den Träumen nur die Idee von Ich ist, indem wir solches gutes
이 다다다기다 좋았는지 무지 묵밤에 봐 종호하되 그래서 싸움이 잡았더니 로마마 법회 그래서 왕국에서 싸움이 잡아 손한테 말을 홍어거래 그래서 당황만 남았는 게 뭐지 봤은 거리 되게
So every practice consists of 3 points. That is the preparation, which is the right motivation, then the actual main practice that is done without concepts, and in the end, the conclusion, which is dedication. And so now many disciples have gathered here to receive this empowerment. And so that is an incredible merit that we shall now dedicate. And actually each and every day we should dedicate our virtues. And now Lama Tserung Rinpoche is going to lead us in a brief dedication prayer.
Page number 14, side 15. Dorjin Chanjin Dela Narodam Harambamela Jinjin Gambo Pamudu Manjiravandri Omba Kajulamana Hajeshu Sonam Daya Dhamja Zimbai Thomna Jimbendana Bhamzende Jikana Jimbalong Rumba Sipen Zolen Rovan Rovara Sho Lamangong Kanzang Varazorva Chodang Zering Varazorva Kendandara Jinjam Varazorva Lamadan Rvamen Varazan Jalo Jambaram Paven Jandaran Jemba Kenda Zambo Deyan Dejan Dedangan Jejezana Gyevan Deladam Jeranda Sanjeng Gozam Dendajama Jenyemen Jerandem Bejama Gendem Ezendem Bejama Jadaram Yamo Dhomara Shung Gonjo Som Jandemba Sanjadang Sanjo Semba Dhamje Senjaladang Sonye Yong Son Zong Beng Adan Jembo Chije Yang Nam Baranda Jeng Sam Jem Jam Beng Dhamje Tene Jem Dendra
다단 고대
다음 대장 대선도 선반다 연병의 다당 샘정 담전 열도 라나멤바 양당 바란종 버서 렘보전 호머런 저런제 시업상은 생은 전전전 Hemderan Lawan Dondrom Ranjam Baranjam Demba Zendam Para Shendron Tozango Senjoranjam Gwaniravan Gorveje 环球三千大年之红白天班天上。下面的球。环球三。New, the extra ist eine Seite, one neu. Vom Garchen Lebensgebiet vom Dalai Lama, seine Heiligkeit, seine Heiligkeit. Ja, haben Sie? Okay. 满天朝文杂来学净土，偏着经典的罗那罗夏，满门大僧结定僧公所，因把人所南经给来做。 看根千年也难得么，天命安别蓝的长子的，大地门接了自然就天边，穷的万千根本给来做，南大天接了边的我来就。 头就三波的三巴兰的下，为me赛见有me让我，让他们有么想的做。Page number 22, want to do your English?
It's a long life prayer for His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche, composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Crown of the Shakyas, a kind unknown friend to all beings. 17 grand pandits, Tilopa and Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Gampopa, Jigten Sumgan, and their lineage heirs. Please bestow good fortune and auspiciousness. Transcendent Lord Protector Amitayus, who grants supreme life, everlasting, stable, and unchanging, and who diverts from untimely death one who merely hears your name or thinks of you, please bestow good fortune as auspiciousness. With discipline, living in their training of morality, with great compassion that appears as the glory of those to be tamed, and without ever parting, devoid of all grasping from Mahamudra's natural state. Gedon Tenpe Nima, son of the teachings, may your life remain pure.
Page number 22.
Obersonntag, danke schön. Thank you. Ja. Home.
So, bitte alle bleiben. So please stay here. Rinpoche will leave and we now make a Jö practice. So Rinpoche geht jetzt nach Hause, aber wir machen jetzt Jö practice. Es werden gleich Texte verteilt für die Jö praxis. Now we distribute the text for the Jö practice. This please give back when we finish. Wir werden auch Jö praktizieren Montag bis Donnerstag nächste Woche. So we practice Jö Monday till Thursday next week. So bring, when you have at home, bring your own text and the Damaro and Bell. Wenn ihr Texte habt, Jö-Texte und Damaro und Glocke, dann bitte bringen. Wir werden Jö von Montag bis Donnerstag auch nächste Woche praktizieren.